Hello, YouTube. Zivian here, and I am here with my friend. I don't know if he wants to stay nameless or not.
The Masked Marauder. Original.
The Dark Horse candidate. So, I don't even remember what episode this is, but this time, I'm not going to cut it into an hour. I'm just going to put the whole one on.
Oh,
yeah.
Nice.
Because the one thing I was thinking of actually, I'm not, because there's the two of us, I don't want to just make the decision myself, but every 10 episodes, we will do a videoed episode.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So that's why I was going to keep this one just fine, so then we could keep the track of, like, proper times, right?
Yeah.
So then, like, okay, so this is 10th episode, instead of having to do the 3-hour recording time, and then for, like, 2 hours for those 2 episodes, we have no camera at all, and then record for 1 hour of the video. It would just get really conflicting and annoying, right?
No, and that's a really interesting idea as well.
Yeah. Just to add some
depth to the
so
this
then
video.
Like, oh, their 10th episode is on. Now we get to see what they look like. So, as usual, with the new things, we start with a question. So this time, it is my turn to figure out the question. Well, I've already figured out the question. I don't know why I said figure out the question. But my question is to you: if society figured out that everything that we knew was wrong, what do you think would happen?
Oh, wow. That, first of all, complete chaos. Because how do you take the news that everything you've ever believed in is a lie? Your parents aren't your parents. Your education was useless. All the money you've ever made
doesn't
even exist. It's, if everything you've, like, there'd be absolute panic.
Oh, yeah.
People would be, people that have never gone to church would be going to church. People that have never, or that are devout to their faith, would stop going to whatever religious building that they go to. It would be complete anarchy. You'd have priests and preachers and scribes and whatever else stepping down, and it would just be complete chaos.
So you're basically saying that it would also kind of switch over.
I think so, because if everything you've ever known is a lie, why would you trust anything that you've ever done in the past? Let's say you drive to work every day, you're going to walk even if it's several kilometers. Mm-hmm. If you walk, you're going to drive even if it's right next door.
Yeah. But, like, also with this, like, the things that are irrefutably, like, if you put your foot down, you're going to touch something, or, like, you're going to touch the ground, then, yeah, obviously that's right.
Obviously that is.
But other stuff where, like, 1 + 1 = 2, like, that's a lie. It's like, well, what do I do now?
Or what if something that's possibly more realistic, if we were to discover that some core belief that we've framed our society on turned out to be a lie? Perhaps, I don't know, Abraham Lincoln was a woman. Maybe I don't know. It's possible. The body that the Russians said that they had of Adolf Hitler, mm-hmm. the one that they disclosed to the public, was a woman's body. So a few scenarios happened, and maybe a few that I can't think of, that Adolf Hitler was a woman. I don't believe that personally.
I don't believe it.
The Russians didn't find Adolf Hitler's real body.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they did. I'm not that big into conspiracies. And the most likely is that either during the communist rule, and remember I'm a communist, but during the communist rule under Stalin, which I don't count as real communism, communists will tear me up, non-communists will tear me up.
I don't think it was a communist state.
No, it was an authoritative socialist state. Never once was the real goal to get rid of the state. Now, of course, one could argue that with capitalist countries surrounding the Soviet Union, they wouldn't be able to safely achieve a socialist paradise, no state. But I don't believe that Stalin ever really planned on getting rid of that power. I feel as if he enjoyed the power and the use and abuse.
It was guaranteed that he did enjoy the power.
And I agree with communism, but Stalin was not a communist. Neither was Pol Pot. And when people say that, communism doesn't mean kill smart people, and communism doesn't mean people with glasses are smart. I'm sorry, but when I heard in social studies that Pol Pot was a communist, I had to take a break. I had to leave the class for 5 minutes.
Like, there has been events where people under communist, with air quotes, have killed people that were smart and wearing glasses and stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah.
it's not really the fact that they were actually under communism.
Well, I
as
could
an
join.
ideology.
I could join the Conservative Party of Canada, and I could then become, I don't know, a raving loon and go around stabbing people with red hair. That doesn't mean that the Conservatives believe that you should kill redheads.
Yeah.
That just means that I was a lunatic and in control of their party.
Yeah, and they would try and like, cover it up, saying that you were a communist or you were something else.
Oh yeah, and that's another thing is why, like, if you watch elections, right? Like Obama he was a Muslim, he was a Jew, he was a communist and a fascist. Like, how does it work that Obama just so happened to be the extremes of everything?
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. Like,
yeah,
because basically when people don't understand things, they either don't want any of it or they point fingers.
Oh yeah, and even here in Canada, I caught people calling him both things. Like, one day I'd hear an uncle or an aunt call him a communist, and the next day I'd hear the same person call him a fascist, and it's like...
And then you're like, well, yesterday you called him a... What did you say?
A communist.
Yeah, communist. It's like, which one?
And it is impossible to be both. Like, I've seen on Fox News, yes, I watch Fox News, it's the best comedy I've ever seen in my entire life. I love it for the comedy. But I don't devoutly watch it because I would go crazy. I'd probably become a Republican, and that's bad news. But the thing is they have this like U-shaped diagram where there's democracy, liberalism in the bottom, and then at the tops of this diagram is fascism on the right, and on the left is communism. And we've seen this graph another time in social studies last year, last semester, sorry. We saw the same diagram, and I was just baffled by it. And me and another kid in our class, we like to give
This one?
that looks like it. Now it was flipped the other way, but that's the exact same.
That looks more like a toilet bowl.
And now, me and another guy, we like to give our political banters. He's more of a conservative, but we like to have our political banters. And he's joking. He's like, it's actually more of a circle, really, because communism and fascism, they meet each other, and they're really the exact same. Now, of course, he was being funny.
No,
he was being funny. He was trying to get a rise out of me, but no, I'm just baffled by that. That someone can think that fascism and communism can be the same thing. Like, you'd think our education would be better.
Save the planet, kill yourself.
Oh, I love the internet. Like, sometimes the internet makes me just question my entire life, but other times it's just, oh, I like that. The fascist and the communist with the Republican and the Democrat.
Where?
The left versus right. Now, to be fair, I'd say Democrats are more conservative, but whatever. I still like it. I like it.
I still don't really understand why they say that the people are elephants and the people are donkeys. Like, what? I have absolutely no understanding.
Well, that's because all Democrats are assholes.
Okay.
I'm kidding. I don't know many Democrats, or personally, I don't know any Democrats.
Oh yeah, seeing as how they're in the States.
Seeing as they're in the States, and I assume most of them are lovely people. Maybe some of them are bad. However, what I do know is Obama's actually decreased taxes on the richest people, and he's increased tax breaks for big companies, which is the exact opposite of what you would assume a socialist would do.
Yeah.
And he's not the first one to act in these kinds of ways. Really, in America, they have Republicans and conservatives. So, it's really up for you to decide what you want to go with. The far right or the mediocre right.
Yeah, you could basically just go wherever you want, really. Free country.
Yeah, and then there's independents, but independents don't get voted for.
Independence is too hard to achieve now.
No, yeah, especially in a two-party first past the post system. First past the post forces a two-party system to emerge.
Yeah.
Like in Canada, it's really a three-party system because the Bloc Québécois is not going to get voted for anywhere outside of Quebec, not just because most people wouldn't vote for them, but they can't vote for them. The Green Party, they finally got their very first seat, and then an NDP crossed the House and joined the Green Party, so they have 2 members now.
Mm-hmm.
But they're never going to be taken seriously.
Yeah, they're not going to be taken seriously at all.
So right now we have a 3-party system, and people have been talking about the NDP and the Liberals merging, kind of like how the Progressive Conservative Party was born, because there was the Conservative Party, then it split apart because they had different beliefs and ideologies.
Yeah.
And then they reconvened because the Liberals kept on getting into power because the right-wing vote was split among multiple parties.
Yeah.
And so, because the right wing wanted to have say in the government, they were forced to band together into one mega super party, which was their old party, which they referred to as the Progressive Conservative Alliance, I believe. I believe that's the correct term. But, and it consisted of several parties that had slightly differing ideologies, which means that what's happening is voters are not getting what they wanted. They wanted these smaller parties, and that's who they chose to vote for. But now they have to choose to vote for a party that's just close to what they want.
Yeah.
All because of first past the post, because whomever gets the most votes, whether they win by 1 vote or 1,000 votes, they get in. And it doesn't matter if in Canada, only 60% of eligible voters voted in the last election.
Yeah.
And of that 60% that actually voted, only 40% of those that voted, so not 40%, all right, I'll say it and then I'll clarify.
40% of the 60%.
Yeah, 40% of the 60% voted for the Conservative Party. However, I think that they have a majority government with, almost 60% of the seats?
Conservatives?
The Conservatives, yeah.
Well, yeah, because Stephen Harper is Conservative.
Yeah, and they have a majority government with, I think, 60% of the seats. Even though 40% of the 60% that voted for them. And the majority of people that didn't vote for them didn't vote. Or the majority of people that didn't vote, they didn't vote because they knew the Conservatives were going to get in.
Yeah.
Because in their riding...
Like 3 or 4 years ago, the first time Conservative was actually placed into, our government as a lead.
As a lead. But, again, the Conservative Party has existed in the past. And that Conservative Party did get in with a majority government prior. However, that Conservative Party broke up into several smaller parties, which included the Bloc Québécois, which was a part of the old Conservative Party, and what was it called? I believe the Canadian Regional Alliance Party, which was an Alberta separatist party led by Stephen Harper. And then, when the Conservative parties were getting together to become the Progressive Conservative Alliance, they agreed that Stephen Harper would be the leader of that party, and...
So basically it's been set up from the start.
It's been set up from the start, and I think that year was the first year that they got in, and I think they've been in with a majority or minority government almost every year, with maybe 2 elections gone by that the Liberals got in. And now people have been saying the Liberals and the NDP should do the same, because the left-wing vote... Alright, here's the deal. Liberals are centralists, but left-wingers will vote for them, because if they have the choice between the NDP that aren't going to get in their riding, or the Liberals that have a chance to get in their riding, they're going to say Liberals are the worst, or the lesser of 2 evils. We don't want the Conservatives because we're left-wingers, and we don't want the right-wing in, so they'll vote for the centralist.
Yeah.
And so what people are saying now is they want the NDP and the Liberals to join each other. And what I don't like about Thomas Mulcair, the leader of the NDP party, is that he's been turning the NDPs into liberals. They're liberals now. He's been ruining Jack Layton's work.
Call it liberals with liberals.
But yeah, and there's still socialists in the NDP party.
Yeah.
But Thomas Mulcair should not have been in the NDP party. He should have been in the Liberal Party. That's just my humble opinion, of course. I'm not hating on Thomas Mulcair. I don't disagree with his politics necessarily. I just don't feel as if he's a socialist, and thus he should be in the Liberal Party because he is moving the NDP, the left-wing party of Canada, further right-wing into the central.
Yeah.
And they're slightly left of central.
Mm-hmm.
And the Liberals are technically also slightly... They're supposed to be slightly left of central, but in reality they're slightly right of central. So the NDP are essentially where the Liberals should be. And the Liberals are a little bit more right than where they should be.
Yeah.
But parties will slightly change their politics.
Yeah.
Based off time and other variables.
There will always be changes going consistently.
Yeah. But now, again, if, let's say that we were to determine that everything we knew was a lie, right? Mm-hmm. Going back to the topic. How would you do, like, would you still go to the grocery store? Like, what's the point? What's the point in living if you've been living a life, or a lie your entire life? If, like you said, the necessities are real, like, you walk on the ground.
Yeah. Which is, like, obviously true.
Yeah.
Like, that's obvious that once your foot goes down a certain distance, it will touch ground.
Well, as Vsauce, free sponsoring, as Vsauce has taught us, technically it doesn't touch because at a molecular level the atoms do repel.
And attract at the same time.
And attract at the same time. So they don't technically touch, but they touch.
It gives you a sense of touch.
Yeah, like you can still feel, but technically speaking, if you get down, you're not technically touching it,
But it's also a technicality, which some people don't believe in technicalities.
Some people don't believe in technicalities. Also, if words really mean what people think that they mean.
Yeah.
And so if they think that you can touch something, then all of a sudden you can.
Yeah. Well, like, the one thing that I kind of find annoying with words is that there's always two meanings of words. There's the definition meaning, which is like the actual fact meaning. Yeah. And then there's the societal meaning, where everybody thinks that's what it means, so then they say it in that way.
It's like if I were to say, my towel was damp, right? Then you get a sense that it's a slightly wet towel. But if I say my towel was moist, more people, that I know of at least, would think that it is wetter than if I were to say damp. When they're really just synonyms that have the exact same dictionary meaning. Yeah. However, most people I know, if I were to say my towel is moist, they would think it is more wet than if I were to say my towel is damp.
Yeah.
Even though they're the exact same word.
Mm-hmm. Which is just weird. Like with gay. Okay? Gay, as a dictionary meaning, means happy.
Happy, yeah.
But because of societal, like, definitions and sayings, it has now been accepted as being homosexual.
Yeah. And you know what? First of all, as a heterosexual, I think it's dumb that we decide that being heterosexual is more important than being asexual. But, well, you can be asexual and heterosexual. But being bisexual, polysexual, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. Why is it more appropriate? Hundreds of years ago, the ruling class was not heterosexuals.
Yeah.
Most people were bisexual. Mm-hmm. Hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
And they were also very promiscuous. People, they didn't think of sex as a big thing. Sex was just sex. Yeah. People just had it. Mm-hmm. And you would have sex with people, and most people wanted to have sex, and most people wanted to have sex with a lot of different partners. And sometimes there'd be orgies, sometimes it would just be multiple partners.
Back in the Shakespearean days.
And it was not uncommon to be promiscuous. And even before Shakespeare, there was even kings and queens that were either homosexual or bisexual or polysexual.
Yeah. but you wouldn't actually see them as being homosexual. Like, they would
Yeah.
be married and have, like, kids or something, but they would still be homosexual.
Or even they were openly homosexual
Yeah.
sometimes. And this is talking about hundreds of years ago.
Yeah.
Back before there was Christianity even.
Yeah.
Because with Christianity, there came talk that homosexuality is wrong and evil. And
But
what's it? Only 3 verses in the Bible that can be assumed mean that God is against homosexuals.
But then that's also an assumption.
That's also
if
an assumption.
everything was based on assumptions, then there would be a lot of things wrong with this world.
Oh, yeah.
It was already not wrong.
Yeah. Our world has a lot screwed up. It's got a lot that's wonderful in it. But It's got a lot screwed up with it. We don't need to start adding more to that list.
Yeah.
So,
like with the new Pope, he's like, I don't care if you're gay.
yeah.
You're still a Christian. Well, you're
Oh,
still
yeah.
a human.
As a Catholic, I love our new Pope.
Yeah.
He's my favorite Pope that we've had. My mom is touch and go on the new Pope. She likes him, but not nearly as much as other popes.
Mm-hmm.
But what my favorite quote that the new Pope is, there's too many. But one of my favorite quotes is somebody declared from Fox News that he was a Marxist.
Mm-hmm.
And how he responded is, personally, I don't believe in the followings of Marx. However, I've met many Marxists in my life, and they seem like very nice people. So I'm going to take that as a compliment.
Seems pretty good to me.
Yeah. Also, at the end of Ramadan, and for anyone that doesn't, it's I believe it's a 1 day, but I'm not Muslim.
I think it's 1 day.
But I believe it's a 1 day religious fast that starts from sun up to sundown.
Well, it also depends on like how
Yeah,
deep you are into the religion.
also there's different kinds of Muslims. There's Shiites and Sunnis, I believe.
I think so. Yeah,
I think I'm
that's
mispronouncing those though, so I'm sorry.
It's close.
I'm sorry to anyone that knows the proper pronunciation. And I believe that there's a third mainstream Islamic religion. I'm not an expert on religion, but anyways, and I think it was the end of this last Ramadan, the Pope he gave a nod to them, and he even declared that as Muslims and Christians we believe in the same God.
Yeah.
And he's, I think, the first Pope to ever officially declare this fact that's been swept under the carpet by people of all sorts of different religions.
Yeah.
Is that, we come from, like we were talking about on our way here, is that Muslims, Jews, and Christians all stem from the exact same religion.
Yeah. Like, the one thing that I've been seeing more recently, and like I've kind of epiphanied on, is that Christianity has become a religion of greed.
2 degrees. Not all Christians are greedy.
It's been, like, recently, some of that has been changing.
Yeah.
But if you look a while back, like during the Crusades and other stuff like that, you can see that there was mass amounts of greed.
Oh, yeah. And, well, first of all, religion is a very, very sensitive topic, and I don't mean to offend any viewers. More people have died in the name of religion than anything else, but also some of the most beautiful buildings, some of the most beautiful songs, instrumentals, architecture, and everything else has been made in the honor of religion.
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't give a damn what faith you are, as long as you don't tell other people that their faith is wrong or that they can't believe what they do. Go ahead, believe whatever you want. Like, even if you're truly and honestly a Pastafarian, like,
that is
go ahead, be whatever you want to be.
Incredibly funny religion.
It is, because it's not a real religion. It was made as a joke, really.
Do you know the actual story?
It was a school system in what was it, Sweden?
I don't remember where it was.
I can't remember, but yeah, it was a school system that created the religion.
20 minutes. That's how long it took them to create it. 20 minutes.
Yeah.
They were trying to teach creationism. And then it ended up surfacing on the internet, and now everybody's going crazy about it.
Yeah. And I have some friends that are atheists that ironically claim to be Pastafarians.
I know who that is.
Yes, you do. And, like, There's nothing wrong with
Well,
that.
the only reason why he's claiming to be Pastafarian is because it's funny.
Yeah, like I said, he's doing it ironically. He doesn't actually believe in it, and he doesn't even claim to actually believe in it. Like, if you were to call him out on it, drop of a hat, he'd be like, oh, no, I don't believe in that.
Yeah, it's only as a joke.
Yeah. And it doesn't harm anyone whatsoever. Like, there's no one that is harmed from claiming to be a Pastafarian.
Like, the only way that you can be harmed by something is unless you choose to be harmed.
Yeah. Another thing is, Pastafarianism has turned into there's some people that take religion to crazy extents. And there is. People from all religions take some aspects of their religion crazily. In a crazy light. Like, alright, some people, I know, have gotten into fistfights over whether or not Mary was a virgin or not. And I'm like, what?
Doesn't it say in the Bible that she was a virgin?
Alright, in the Bible, it says that she's a virgin. And as a Catholic, the Catholic faith teaches us that Mary was a virgin, and that the Son of God, Jesus Christ, was born of a virgin, Mary. And there's some Christian denominations that they don't believe that. What they believe is that that's more of a metaphor, that she was clean of heart and clean of virtue. And so she wasn't a literal virgin. But I know people that have actually gone into fistfights over, was it a metaphor or was it literal? Because there's some parts to the Bible that have to be a metaphor. There's some parts that are obviously real, but there's some parts that are metaphors.
Yeah, to be honest, when I think of the Bible, I think most of it, well, like half of it is just crackpot claims, and half of it is like
Fair enough.
actual story.
Now, a lot of the New Testament, Jesus' teachings, are parables, which means that they don't necessarily have to be a true story. But
it's fiction.
But the thing is the idea behind the story is what's important. The actual story, if you listen to the story and take it literally, it's not useful. But it's a parable, so you're supposed to take something from a possibly true, a possibly fictional story. Such as, if you don't mind, I'd like to share one of my favorite stories.
I don't really care.
Alright, if any of you don't want to hear stories, skip ahead a little bit. I don't know how long this is going to take. I'm not telling you to believe this. I'm not telling you that you should. I'm just saying this is something that I believe in. But anyways, is the story of the Good Samaritan. Which is, there was a man that was half dead in the streets.
Half dead? How can you be half dead?
Well, he was dying, right? And one of the priests walked by this man, and he did nothing for him. He didn't try to help him or anything. Because in the Old Testament, it says that a dead man is a bad omen and it brings bad luck and all this other stuff, right?
Yeah.
And the Sumerians were half pagan, half Jewish. They were Jewish, but they still believed in multiple gods.
Yeah.
It's a little confusing. But anyways, and so a lot of Jewish people saw them as dirty, unclean, and bad at the time.
Which was what they thought of everybody, basically.
Well, at the time, and I don't want to offend anyone who's watching. I don't believe that Jews are a prejudiced bunch of people. But at the time, that is the sentiment that people felt. And anyways, what happened is the Samaritan came across this man and he helped him. Whatever, right?
Yeah.
And the thing is, though, is in the Bible, the point is love everyone unconditionally as you love yourself. Or love your neighbor unconditionally as you love yourself, right?
Yeah.
And when Jesus is talking, and again, I'm not trying to convert anyone here. First of all, I want to say faith, for me, number one thing. Whether that means that you're atheist, agnostic, Muslim, Christian, Jewish, whatever.
Whatever you can name.
Whatever, yeah. There's many faiths that I don't know. I know someone who's an Auroric, which is, I thought it was a dead religion, but apparently not. And, yeah, he's an Auroric. He's a great person. I have no problem with his faith or whatever. But anyways, the point of it is love your neighbor, and your neighbor is not just your literal neighbor.
Love.
We're all
Not like...
Well, not like lust.
Love.
Not like, I want to go sleep with you, love, but like how you love your mom or your grandma.
Yeah.
And if you love your grandma that way, I'm not judging, but you probably shouldn't.
Yeah.
But anyways, and yeah, love your neighbor, which it's not like love as in like
literal
how you love your wife, but love as in you love your grandma. And it's not neighbor as in the person that lives next door to you, but your earthly neighbor, your everyone around you. But what's another good little segue?
Segway. That makes me remember the song, the Yagway.
It's a great song.
I don't know why, but whenever I hear Segway, I think of that song now. Well, like, the one thing I thought of when you were talking is anybody that is watching, well, there's nothing really going on the video, so it's mostly listening.
Yeah.
Which is what I kind of find funny when you're, like, messaging someone on Facebook. Like, I will see you later, and, like, you're nowhere near them. And they can't see you, but the only thing they can see is your text.
Yeah.
And then, like, sounds like you're doing this while you're messaging them. There's no sound being exchanged between you.
Yeah.
So how do you hear what they're... hear what the sound is?
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I hate messaging through like a text message or Facebook comment or something like that.
Because you don't really know what they're actually trying to get at.
You don't know what they're trying to get at. And also, it really kills a conversation. And for me, personally, I put whomever's not around me at the time in the background and whomever I'm having the conversation with in the foreground.
Yeah.
Because I've had conversations with people that are like, oh, 1 second, I need to take this, and they pull out their phone and they answer the text message. Yeah. And I'm not offended that they do this, but it's like, that's not how I see things. I see things as in, I'm here, I'm having this conversation with you.
Yeah.
If someone's texted me, if we come to a lull in the conversation, and neither one of us has something to say at that very moment, then I'll pull out my phone type of, like, I don't have a phone, but you know what I mean, right? Like, I have my tablet that I can use, and if I'm having a real conversation with someone, and I see that I have a message, right?
Yeah.
Then as soon as there's a lull in the conversation, I'll answer whomever I'm talking to via the social networking.
Yeah.
But then as soon as I've answered them, right, then I'll go back to the conversation that was at hand, and if that conversation dies, then I'll go to talking to them via the internet.
Yeah.
But if it doesn't die, then the next time there's a lull, I'll answer it.
Like, I, myself, I don't have any problem with, like, people going on their phone while I'm talking to them. But it's as long as they're not putting 100% of their attention into it.
Oh, yeah. I hate when someone, especially when they start the conversation with you.
Yeah.
And the whole time, they're just looking at their phones, and they're texting, and they're like, hold on 1 second. Give me a moment. Yeah. And it happens, like, every 5 seconds.
Like, I myself, I can pay attention to a lot of things at once.
Yeah.
As you can see from the 3 screens. So, while I'm doing stuff on my phone and I'm still in a conversation with people, I can still hold the conversation while I'm doing something on my phone.
Yeah.
And normally, I don't go on my phone until after they're talking to me, because I can listen to them talking to me while I'm on the thing, and I can still pay attention to them while I'm paying attention to the other object. Which is quite honestly a gift, because it makes things a lot easier.
Oh, yeah.
But I have had problems where people, like, wait, I have priorities. I need to text this person.
Yeah, and it's like,
life is not texting.
Yeah. And now, I understand sometimes the texting conversation can be very important.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's like, what are you wearing? How is science class? I hate Mr. or Mrs. Flim Flam Flibber Dibber because of the way that they do blah 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 blah. And it's like, golly gee, like...
But if it's like, something with like a schedule where like, we need this now, then like, maybe, okay, yes, you respond to that.
Maybe you're asking someone, what's my homework? or maybe you're talking to your parents, or there's a few times where it's actually an important conversation, but a lot of the times, it's not that it's not important. It's just that it's not that important.
Yeah, like the one thing I find annoying with my parents whenever I'm texting them is they expect a response right away.
Oh yeah.
Regardless of what they ask or say, they expect it immediately, regardless, and it gets so annoying because they get mad at me for not responding. Like I don't respond right away because I would I'll be doing a lot of things at once, and then someone will message me, so I'll finish one thing, so then I can add that other thing to what I'm doing, so then I can reply and then do another thing, so that I can be doing a lot of more things at once, and I can be just kind of going with the system to make it easier. But it still gets so annoying. They're like, you're supposed to respond right away. Excuse me, why didn't you respond? And it's just like, please, no.
Yeah, and me, I don't even, check my tablet that often. Yeah. Tonight I'm going to check my...
Piece of shit.
Oh, yeah, my tablet does not work very nicely. It was only, $98 or something like that. So, I've gotten my money out of it.
Yeah.
But, it is crapped out. But, even if it was better, I would only check it slightly more often.
Yeah.
I think it's been a little over a week since I've used it. I might have used it once or twice earlier this week. Maybe. But I'm going to go on. Not because I want to use it, but because I need to get in contact with one of our friends, one of the fellow brownies.
Oh.
Yeah. Because I found out something about graduation. Mm-hmm. And he wasn't here today.
Oh.
Did you see how the schedule was posted for who's going? Oh, okay. Well, their name was not on the list, and this isn't the carbon copy list.
Yeah.
But this is the right now who is going. This is not who's not going, but this is who is going right now. And it's not the carbon copy list. It's not the final list, but it's the first list.
I probably wasn't on there.
Not yet, but there's a few people, and some people weren't on it because
that were supposed to be on it.
There's one kid in our Block 2 class. Mm-hmm. I was sitting beside him today, working with him with English, right? He's not on that list, but
he has enough credits.
When he's scheduled to have enough credits. Mm-hmm. He's going to be taking 2 easy 5-credit courses immediately after he's done English. Yeah. And he's only got, I think, 2 more module booklets, including the one he's working on. Yeah. He's not, he was not scheduled to go, but Rammer talked to him, and she's like, he's set to graduate. Why isn't he on the list? And the teacher, you know who, your social teacher, looked at it and went, oh, okay, yeah, never mind, and corrected that. Then the other person that was taking world geography that finished it, he isn't on that list because he's not going to gym class. Yeah. His parents are in Saskatchewan, we're in Alberta, so he can't drop gym. Yeah. And he doesn't want to be in gym, so he hasn't been going to gym class. Yeah. He tried to drop it, but he needed their signature, but with them not living in the same province, he can't drop it. Yeah. So he's had some problems, but he's going to get his sister to sign it for him now, and they've said that's fine. So he's going to be on that list as soon as that's cleared up. There's a few discrepancies, and I don't know why the first person's not on that list. I don't care why the first person's not on that list either. Yeah. It's their business, not mine. But I'm just going to let them know they're not on that list now, so that if it's an easy fix, they can get that fixed. And if it's not an easy fix, they have time to work it out.
The one thing that I don't like about our grad is they do stuff and they don't tell people. Yeah. They expect you to ask them.
Well, even our grad chair, right? Yeah. I feel so bad for her because, first of all, she's not on that list either. And I have no idea why. And she's a good student. She's
smart.
She's super smart. She's way smarter than I am, and I have no idea why she's not on that list. But anyways, what happens is the parents, right? Yeah. Is they'll tell her what her or what they think she needs to know when they think she needs to know it.
Yeah.
And so there's been times that I've asked her before, when's our next grad meeting? And she's like, I don't know. And then like 2-3 days later, I see a post on Facebook that says our next grad meeting is that night.
Yeah.
Or tomorrow night.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just
way
asked you.
too early to know.
Well,
Like,
way too
I need
late
to be
know.
knowing like a week
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah. Why are you going to tell me 2 or 3 days before? And it's not her fault. Because I'll ask her, and she genuinely doesn't know until she's told. And all of a sudden they send her an email, and they're like, oh, we're having a grad meeting.
Which, like, I tell my parents, like, when they ask me questions, like, I don't know.
Yeah, and seriously, I don't know them either. Like,
and, like, but they automatically expect me to know.
Yeah.
Because they expect me to ask.
Well,
but, like, when I've told them, even when I ask them the question, they don't know.
No, yeah. Like, there's been so many times that I've asked, oh, what is the money going to? Like, alright, there's this thing that went down, right? There's 5, you know about that,
yeah, the
5 students that did no fundraising whatsoever.
Yeah.
Right? And they did, again, no fundraising. And the thing is, if we were to pay for everyone's grad, irregardless of if they did not fundraise, irregardless of how much they fundraised, if they did fundraise, we would still have $3,000 left over.
Jeez.
Now, we haven't paid for our safety deposits.
Yeah.
But, first of all, we're probably and hopefully not going to break anything.
I doubt it.
Second of all, with $3,000, I think our most expensive safety, our most expensive cost if something breaks is $500.
Yeah, probably.
And I don't think that we're going to break, what would that be, 6 things? Or no, it's 3,500, so 500, so... No, yeah, it would be 6.
Yeah.
I don't think we're going to break 6 of the most expensive things that we have.
No,
especially
so.
Since I think the next one after that's only $200.
But, like, also, if you think about it, a lot of the teachers that are going to be there.
Yeah.
Really doubt that a lot of the people are going to be doing anything stupid
now,
there.
Do you know how much money we would have if we were to charge everyone who did not pay money the full price?
We'd probably have, like, almost double.
More.
More?
We would have $10,000.
Wow.
What are we going to do with $10,000? No one can keep a penny. It can't get reimbursed to us.
Yeah.
What are we going to do with it?
It's just going to go to school.
It's not even... It can't go to school.
So there's just going to be money that sat there, basically.
Our options are keep it in the grad account for next year's grad, or find some way to waste the money.
Give everyone, like, some beer.
We would... Yeah, we'd have to either have the most lavish after grad in our entire town's history.
Yeah.
Or give $10,000 to next year's grad.
Yeah.
And so here's my question. Are we going to teach a lesson to 5 people in our grad class that they need to work hard, with air quotes around it, in order to get by in life? Or are we going to teach all of next year's grad class that they don't need to do any work? Because if we give them $10,000,
that they need to work.
Oh yeah, if we give them $10,000, right? Our grad is a fairly expensive grad, and it's only $2,000. So that's half of their grad.
But we still have quite a lot more than we even need for our grad.
Well, it's all right. $20,000 for grad. After grad's going to be $1,000, and we have $24,000.
Yeah, that's more than enough.
Yeah. So if we were to have $10,000 left over, right?
Yeah.
We would give them half of what we need for our grad.
Like, even if they did allow us to get reimbursed with that money left over, we would still actually get some pretty good money.
Oh, but if they did let us get reimbursed, right? Imagine how dumb it would be. Because, wait, with the $3,000 or the $10,000?
With the amount that would be left over from paying for after grad.
Okay. Yeah, it would still be a fair bit of money left.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, let's say it were the $10,000 and a reimbursement.
Yeah.
That'd be so dumb, because that would mean the people that haven't fundraised would be putting $7,000 worth of cash into the pockets of those that did fundraise.
Yeah.
That's not fair. That's not fair. It's saying, because you didn't fundraise, I get $7,000 from you.
Yeah. It wouldn't make sense, but it would, like, if I was, like, of some kind of power, I'd be like, okay, so these people that have no fundraising time will get a like 40% less or 30% less.
Yeah.
And then these people that have very long fundraising time will get a little bit more money that these guys are losing.
Yeah.
And then just have it go like that. So then, like, yes, it would sort of get rid of the whole everybody gets a share. But, like, yes, everybody gets a share, but it's not equal.
Yeah.
But it would be better in the hand because then more people would be happy about what they're getting. Because all these people that actually have fundraised are going to be like, why are these guys getting the same money as us? Because they didn't fundraise and we did. And then you'll have just people getting mad. And then when you have the people with just the change in monies, depending on how hard they worked, it's going to be a lot more happy people.
Yeah.
But obviously, the people that end up getting more money are always be happy anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah, more monies!
No one complains when you give them more money.
Yeah.
It's like, let's say your employer agrees to pay you, we'll say, $5 an hour. Obviously not legal wage.
Yeah.
But we'll say you're being paid $5 an hour, right?
Yeah.
And then, afterwards, you find out that you were paid $8 an hour. Still not legal wage, but you're going to be ecstatic.
Yeah. But what they would end up doing is they would actually take that money away from you.
Well, yeah.
If you ended up getting paid more than you were supposed to.
Yeah.
Which is really annoying. Like, you still worked for that money. You should still have it. No.
Yeah.
Nothing about it. Like, you have it. But they're like, no.
The great thing is in Canada, right?
Yeah.
Did you know that the least amount of money that you can be paid for is 3 hours? So let's say you get called in for a half hour of work, right?
Yeah.
You get paid 3 hours.
Oh, yeah, I know about that.
Yeah. And I say that's a huge victory.
Yeah.
That's a gigantic victory. Like, I know some people that they're just students.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine what would happen if they had to go to school. They'd have to go to work, and every now and then their boss would call them in for a random half-hour shift because you think that you're busy, so whatever plans you had with friends get canceled.
Yeah.
And you leave your homework someplace inconvenient because you have to work, and then after that half hour, now I could go hang out with my friends again. Yeah. Now I could do my homework, but my friends have already gone off to, I don't know, Calgary.
Narnia.
Well, we live in Alberta, so Calgary.
Yeah.
Or Edmonton, or
somewhere.
Regina.
Just somewhere.
Yeah, they've gone wherever. Or my homework's still at school, but the custodians lock it at 6.
Yeah.
And I got off at 6:30.
Mm-hmm.
Or I got off at 6:15, and I started at 5:45.
Well, like, you also have to be thankful that you didn't actually have to work for the 3 hours.
Oh, yeah. But let's assume that you got paid for whatever you worked, right?
Yeah.
Then your boss could just do that to you. Is call you in for a half hour, completely ruin whatever you had to do.
Yeah.
And then be like, oh, sorry, you're gone now, and only pay you for the half hour. That wouldn't be fair.
No.
It wouldn't be. Also, who can live off a half hour of wages?
No one.
No one. Not only, like, I don't care how much money you're, like, if you can live off a half hour of wages, either A, you don't have that good of a quality of life, or you are being paid way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you can live off a half hour of wage every day of the work week,
yeah,
you need a pay decrease like yesterday.
Yeah.
Like, there's plentiful people that could use that money a lot more than you could.
Yeah, that's the problem about first world countries, that we always overstock and we overspend.
Yeah, we allot our money in dumb places. Like when we bought those $6 million planes it was last year or the year before that.
The 6 what?
$6 million planes.
Oh, the jet fighters that we got?
Yeah. What?
And they were also used.
They were also used. And who's going to invade Canada? All right. To any foreigners, like non-Canadians watching this, do you think your country would invade Canada? That's something I'm curious. Like, do you think that your country would be willing to invade Canada?
The only thing that I could think of why they would do that is because of how we are the front line against Soviet Russia. But Soviet Russia doesn't exist anymore.
Exactly.
So why do we have to worry about that? Like, what other powers are we worried about?
Yeah. Another thing is, let's say America is at war with another nation, right?
Yeah.
They could invade Canada to have front lines on American soil, right?
Yeah.
However, first of all, that's what they have Cuba for. Because Cuba doesn't like America none too much and would probably give its borders to anyone that wants to attack her.
Yeah.
And second of all, America would immediately come to Canada's defense, not because Canada's all that and more, but
they
because...
want the oil.
Well, but here's the thing though, right? If a part of Canada were to fall to some foreign nation that's at war with them, they would have direct line of sight with the American soil.
Yeah.
America would not allow that to happen.
No.
They would have to come to our defense, not because they love us, not just because we're good trade partners,
Because they're worried about themselves.
Yeah, they could not do it and still be safe.
But I honestly highly doubt that someone would be able to take over something in Canada.
No, and no one would try to. Also, our armed forces are well trained.
Our armed forces are very well trained.
Like,
just the only problem with our armed forces is that we don't have new enough equipment.
Yeah, and if we're gonna put money into the army, which first of all I'm against army. I believe that if every nation in this world were to not have an army, there'd be no reason for any nation in this world to have an army. Now, it's going to be impossible to completely get rid of every single army in this world because there's going to be the America of the world that said, how will we be safe if we don't have an army?
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, let's assume that every single country in this world were to automatically destroy their armies today.
Yeah.
There would no longer be any threat of war.
No, never.
If I can't attack you because I don't have an army, and you can't attack me because you don't have an army, what's the point?
Yeah.
There's no more point to the conflict.
Yeah. But then you'll have conflict within person.
Exactly. But that's a much safer conflict than two people fighting. And the thing is, though, who's the people that suffer in war? Sure, it's the soldiers. But it's the civilians that suffer. It's the civilians that are bombed. It's the civilians whose family members they'll never see again.
Yeah.
Like, let's say I were to join the army, right? And I were to die. Sure, that's a horrible loss for me. I lost my life. But whether there's an afterlife or not, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I'm dead now.
Yeah.
My problems are over.
Like, when I was in Army Cadets, they were like, it's better for you to die in Army Cadets than to be injured. You know why?
Army Cadets?
Yeah.
Why?
Because if you get injured, there is a stack of insurance papers, like literally this big, that you have to do. So like probably about 6 inches of paper. If you die, one piece of paper saying that you're dead.
Wow.
So that's why they were saying it's better if you die than get injured. It's the same way in the army too. If you get injured, massive amounts of paperwork. If you die, just stamp saying you're dead, ship the paper away, say, we got to tell these people's parents. Done. Done.
And the thing is, though, it's the civilians because it's your parents, it's your children, it's whatever relation anyone has to you, right?
Yeah.
They're the ones that have to suffer with your death. The people that get bombed, sure, they're soldiers, but when those soldiers die, it's really their families that are harmed. And also, these, like, American drones, most of them aren't hitting Al-Qaeda camps. They're hitting schools. They're hitting civilians.
Yeah, because they can't really quite tell 100% what they're actually shooting at.
Yeah, and half the time they don't even try. They just go, looks brownish.
Oh my god.
I'm sorry, I said it, and it's true.
Yeah.
It's very racist. I don't agree with that system, but... And I'm sorry if you disagree. Let me know. But...
There was, during the Vietnam War, there was one captain of a platoon, and a platoon is like 20 or 30 members. So basically they were walking through a rice paddy, and then a ambush happened. So the guy, like the captain that survived, like he was like one of the only people that survived, and he noted that over 70% of all the people within his platoon of the American Army were not shooting to actually shoot accurately. They were just shooting to shoot. The other percentage of people, because my math is horrible, I'm not going to actually say the number, were actually shooting to kill. Not including him, because he got shot, like, right away. But, like, that's just how the American military is. They just shoot to shoot.
Yeah.
And you can see that in many different occasions.
Oh, yeah. And they're just shooting. And there could be a little kid over there. There could be a woman. There could be a man that has nothing to do with the war. There could be... They don't know. They're not even... They're just... They just turn their head away from their target, and they shoot. And they just spray that area.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever seen, like, war footage? A lot of the Americans... They carpet it in bullets. It's a barrage of bullets on this giant, wide, sweeping target. Another thing is, who's to say that there's no civilians in that building?
Yeah.
Like, just because there's one man with a gun in there, or one woman with a gun in there, does not mean that they're all...
guns, in quotations.
Or there's weapons of mass destruction.
Yeah.
Still haven't found those. I believe that was in Iran, right?
Yeah.
The weapons of mass destruction thing?
Yeah.
Yeah. Still haven't found them.
But we're still shooting people.
Personally, I think they're there. You just have to look a couple thousand feet under the ground right in America.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you dig far enough, you'll find them. But you'll see an American flag.
Yeah. But, like, because of a lot of the shit, to put it nicely, that the Americans have done with proxy wars and covert wars...
Yeah.
Absolutely infuriates me, and also anytime I hear of a war in another country, I almost automatically want to assume that it's just the American CIA trying to do a covert war.
Oh yeah. Well, another thing though, right, is have you ever heard of the band the Molotovs?
Yes.
Alright, I love the Molotovs. Have you heard the song Class Enemy?
No.
Alright, one of my favorite I'll take a quote from it, right?
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite quotes from it is, killing for war, or, killing for freedom is like raping for virginity.
That's, interesting.
And it's just completely true.
Yeah.
If you're killing for freedom, you're stripping people away from their freedom.
Yeah, you're taking away someone's freedom. You're stealing their freedom.
Yeah, and if you kill, you can never get that freedom back.
Yeah.
Like they say in Macbeth, right? What's done cannot be undone. You can't unkill someone.
Yeah.
You can't wish them better.
Frankenstein.
You can't say, oh, I'm sorry that I shot you, or oh, I'm sorry I dropped a bomb on you, or I'm sorry that you're dead now. Come back, just wake up.
Yeah.
No.
You can't do that. No.
Death is forever.
Yeah. Well,
now,
that we know of.
Now, there could be an afterlife, but mortal death is forever.
Yeah. That we know of. To be 100% correct, that we know of. Because we actually won't know.
Well, yeah. And it's ignorant to assume anything that we can't know.
Yeah.
Like, anyone that completely assumes that... Oh, I don't know. We'll say 20 years ago. Anyone that assumed the Higgs boson was a real thing, right?
Yeah.
They were being arrogant if they completely believed that it was real.
They actually proved it recently.
They have proved it. And that's why I said 20 years ago it would have been arrogant. If they assumed that it was definitely a real thing, no doubt.
Well, even back then, they were like, we
They knew it had to exist somehow, but they didn't know that it existed.
We know of its existence, but we can't prove it.
Yeah, they're like, things don't make sense. Like, one of two things. Either what we know about science is wrong, or the Higgs boson exists.
They were like, 1 + 1, I think, equals 2? I'm not quite sure, though, because 1 doesn't kind of make sense to me right now.
Yeah. It's kind of like saying 1 + 2 = 3, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, we're pretty sure 1 + 2 = 3, but we haven't found 1 yet.
Yeah.
So until we find 1... we can't tell you 1 + 2 = 3 because right now we just got 2 = 3.
For some reason, like, my favorite quote ever is 1 + 1 = 2. Because you put one thing and another thing together, then you get 2 things. And that 2 is your realization of figuring out what 1 and 1 is.
Fair. What I like to say, though, is 2 and 2 is 4. Or 2 and 2 is 5.
Yeah.
As in, this just doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like, this is crap
but, like,
crazy.
everybody knows that 1 + 1 = 2.
Oh, yeah.
Anybody that has any form of math knows that 1 + 1 is 2.
Go ahead. If you know someone in kindergarten, ask them what 1 + 1 is. Now, I think I knew what 1 + 1 was in kindergarten. I can't guarantee because that was like 13 years ago, but I'm pretty sure in kindergarten I knew 1 + 1.
It's just the fact that people don't think 1 + 1 = 2 any deeper than that.
Yeah.
They don't think of it as like some kind of quote where one thing and another thing, and then you come up to realization and it equals 2 things.
Yeah. And
like,
it can be quite deep, and it's something that's quite easy. It's quite like, it's not a big deal. 1 + 1 = 2. Like, oh, okay. It's like,
yeah, everybody thinks it's just a simple thing, but once you actually put the thought into it and you actually think of it, you know that this is much deeper than what I think it is.
You were in the same psych class with me last year, right?
Yeah.
All right. It's kind of like how we were looking at pictures, right? And some of the pictures were only dots.
Yeah.
But you could still see the whole picture.
Yeah.
And everyone in the same class, right? They all saw the same thing. And I'm
Yeah.
not talking about like a picture like the 2 people kissing in the vase. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, like, we'll say it's a smiley face made out of dots, right?
Yeah.
And so everyone sees the smiley face, even though there's no lines connecting these dots.
Yeah.
It's there. It's
like,
clear. It's obvious.
There is no good or bad, right or wrong, only perspective.
Yeah. Like, a lot of people must have assumed that America was right during the Cold War.
Yeah.
Otherwise, America would have crumbled.
Yeah.
A lot of people must have assumed that the Soviet Union was right during the Cold War, or the Soviet Union would have crumbled 10 or 20 years earlier.
Like, their perspective is that the Soviet Union is good. Other people's perspective is that the American sphere of influence is good.
Yeah. And now, personally, I would say the Soviet Union was not good, and the American was not good.
I wouldn't side with any of them. I would be I would be
now,
a one-sided country.
Of course, as a communist, I would be more likely to go with even Stalin's Soviet Union over America.
Yeah.
Because it's still close. I would rather an authoritative socialist regime than an authoritative capitalist regime.
Yeah.
However, if I had a choice in the Cold War, frick, I would have lived in Yugoslavia. I would have moved as soon as Tito died.
Yeah.
But I would have lived in Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
The day Tito died, though, fuck,
Yugoslavia was actually a pretty good country.
Oh yeah, I'd either move to Serbia.
It is still, actually.
I would, if I was a Serb, I would be fine.
Yeah.
But if not, I would get my ass out of Yugoslavia the day Tito died.
I still really want to live in either Norway, Sweden, or Denmark. Any of those countries, I will be fine.
Yeah.
Just the only problem is that their cost of living is really high, but that comes with other benefits.
Yeah, there's high cost of living, but just because you have higher taxes doesn't mean it's bad, because you can afford the taxes because you get paid a decent living.
Yeah.
And now everything's more expensive there, but that's also more beneficial because then when you have tourists, they are then paying more money into your economy.
Like, that's what's happening in Canada right now.
Yeah.
Our rate of living, our price of living is going up.
Yeah.
So our minimum wage is going up. People think that because the minimum wage is going up that the cost of living is going down.
No.
But it's actually the fact that the cost of living is going up, so we have to bring up our minimum wage.
And not necessarily equally.
Like, I think right now Alberta has the lowest minimum wage at the moment.
Yeah, it also has the highest cost of living.
Yeah, which is kind of just weird.
Yeah, it's really dumb. Well, we're also the capitalist haven of Canada.
I think more of Quebec.
Well,
to be honest,
fair. But they have been changing a little bit more, and there's still that nationalist sentiment in Quebec, but they're getting more socialist, and that's why the NDP was able to get so many seats in Quebec.
Like with Quebec and British Columbia, I honestly think those are the two most capitalist provinces in Canada.
BC, touch and go. Like they've historically been more liberal,
up and down.
But in recent years, they are, like with HST and all that other stuff.
Yeah,
Now, I don't necessarily disagree with HST, but I don't entirely understand HST. Like, I've heard so many things on HST, I don't know. All I know is in Alberta, it's high time we get PST.
Yeah. I do enjoy the fact that we do have lower taxes.
Yeah, I do like lower taxes, but the thing is, though, is if you're taxed more, first of all, you can get a higher quality of living, and second of all, in times where the government's in debt, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, right now.
Always.
Right now, we're, $17 billion in debt as a province? And what did we just give to oil companies? What, $2 billion? Or $20 billion, sorry?
Yeah.
We would still be $3 billion out of debt right now if we didn't bail out the oil companies. Yeah. But capitalists, woohoo.
The biggest problem I have, too, actually, is who are we really in debt to?
Exactly.
Like, we're basically paying ourselves and being paid to live on a free area.
And it's not even Canadian land, if you're going to be completely brutally honest. We stole this from the First Nations, the Indians, whatever you want to call them.
But who was there before them?
Well,
technically,
to my degree of knowledge, no one, because there's 2 waves of immigrants to Canada before even the Vikings. There was the Asians and the Europeans. I believe was it the Asians that got here first or the Europeans?
The Vikings got here first.
No, I mean for the First Nations, right?
Yeah.
There was European, like Germanic and French people that came over to Canada. Scientists discovered this a little bit ago. I believe that they were the first First Nations in Canada. Is Nordic and what were the French called again? I can't remember.
I don't know.
But there were Europeans that were actually in the East Coast, right?
Yeah.
East Coast First Nations, apparently.
Yeah.
They trace their lineage back to Europe. West Coast and the Aztecs trace their lineage back to Asia.
That was probably during the Ice Age.
Yeah. They came over during the land bridge.
Yeah.
And also during the Ice Age, but earlier on in the Ice Age, right? Like at the start of the Ice Age, and compared to like the end of the Ice Age, the First Nations from Europe, they traveled over a similar ice bridge, but going over the Atlantic. Yeah.
Like the one thing I heard of recently actually is they found a structure in South America that predates all of like humans living in North and South America.
Really?
Yeah. Like
where did they find it? Do you know?
It was somewhere in Brazil.
Oh wow.
Yeah. And like it even predates a lot of things in Egypt.
Oh wow.
Like it's older than pyramids and stuff like that, and it's like, what? And like when I was talking to my dad about this, I was saying like, we can't disprove that there was no sprout of human life in South America.
Perhaps
because a lot of South America at that time was much like Africa. Yeah. Like in the bottom corner where the Congo is and the other countries like that, it was much like the central part of Africa at that time. So there's really no way that we can disprove that there was some kind of humanoid life that could have been there at that time. But like there's like pictures on the internet where it's like architecture that's like almost perfectly square and stuff like that. And it's like there's no way that they could have been here, basically, but it's here, so we can't disprove it. Because they did carbon dating with it. Carbon dating is 100% accurate. Yeah. Unless someone, like, absolutely messes up.
There's chances for error with everything, but in the carbon dating, there's not a chance for error. Yeah. In the reading of it, there's chance for error, and in the administering of the test, there's chance for error. But in the carbon dating, there's no chance for error.
Yeah, in this... like in the way itself, it's accurate about 200%.
But if you include human error.
Yeah.
There's no error in the test, but there is error in humans.
There will always be human error.
Which is why there's no such thing as 100% accurate.
Yeah.
Because even if a test is 100% accurate, humans can still fuck it up.
Yeah. Yep.
And trust me, I know some of the people that do screw stuff up. Sometimes it's me.
I'm not sure who it is, but I might be looking at them in the mirror right now.
Well, luckily there's no mirrors around here, so I can't look them in the mirror. But yes, sometimes me, being as perfect as I am, make mistakes, and sometimes they're giant.
I also kind of find it annoying when people think that regardless of how you are, you have to be perfect. Yeah. You have to do everything to their expectations regardless.
Yeah, even if their idea of perfect seems crazy.
Yeah, like that's how my parents are.
I don't know if that picked it up. It seems like a really good mic, though. Also, thank you for this amazing mic.
Well, might as well just tell them what the original idea was. Before, we had the 2 microphones set up. Yeah. And that was just horrible. Yeah. My microphone that I was using, brand new, clear quality. The one that he was using was, shit.
And if you ever noticed me, I was not as loud as Zevian.
Yeah. I was really loud, he was really quiet, and there was also echoing. So then I was like, frick. Well, I have to find us a good microphone. So then I was like, okay, so we'll try and get some money together and pick up a microphone. And then, I did a thing on the internet where it's basically you start your own fundraiser where people will fundraise for you to buy something for you. Which I actually forgot what the name of the website was. I completely forgot.
I know what it's called too.
TubeStart.
That sounds right.
So basically, you would go on there and you would donate such amount, and then the person would do something and all that. But we were getting absolutely nothing from it, and we weren't getting approved for it either. It was there for 3 weeks, and we had no approval. But the time of the fundraiser was actually going down, even though we weren't approved. So it was getting really annoying. And so then I was like, well, I'm doing stuff for my dad right now that he said that he would pay me with. So then I was like, well, if I get you to buy me this microphone, then don't worry about paying me for the next few things that I do for you. And he was like, how much is the microphone? And I was like, $50. And he was like, okay. And then we got it, and I was like, woo!
That's
I was
amazing.
So excited to get it. As soon as I got home, which was at 2 o'clock in the morning, I plugged it in and I started using it. Which I was just absolutely excited when I first got it. Even though I was in Calgary when I got it, yeah, I was still shaking. I was like, I want to use this right now. But from how it's been for this hour, I really enjoy how it was. Cause, with my microphone, before, because I did some changing with my wires, when I had it on, I couldn't turn and look at you. Because if I did, it would pull tight, and it would I would want to look at you sometimes, but I couldn't because it was too tight, so I was stuck just straight. And I was talking, and then I felt that was kind of rude because I couldn't turn and look at you. Yeah.
I'm really excited to hear this episode, though, because just to hear the difference,
it's going to be very noticeable.
Yeah, people are probably going to say, before they get to this point, something's
different.
And then when you got to this part, you're going to say, okay.
Makes sense now.
Now they just cleared that up. Thanks for not doing it at the beginning.
The one thing that I really want to be doing now is getting some form of soundproofing, but I can't quite do that yet because
well, also soundproofing is fairly expensive unless you just want to take phone books.
The easiest way to actually soundproof a room is with egg curtains. egg cartons. So you put the egg cartons, you just like
Actually, I've heard
tack
that
them onto the
before.
walls. Like they don't work as good as like paid for ones that you would get, but they still work really
They
well.
get the job done,
Yeah.
and who doesn't buy eggs? Vegans.
We don't.
Okay.
Sometimes we do, sometimes we don't.
But then you just hold on to the carton.
Yeah. Or recycle them. But
Or, yeah.
yeah.
Well,
And if I really wanted to, I could get like 100 egg cartons for free.
yeah.
Like, no problem. Because we're in a farming community. So everybody has like big egg cartons. So I could just go to like people's houses and say, "Can I have your non-used egg cartons?" And they'd be like, "I'm not using it.
They'd
Here
probably
you
be
go."
like, that's a weird request, but okay.
Yeah. I guarantee if you did that in America, people would shoot you.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I've never been to America, but from what I can tell, it sounds likely.
Well, there was one case in America where there was Girl Guides asking people if they would like to like buy cookies, and then there was one guy that just went nuts and like
wow.
started chasing them down the street. But like any kind of weird stuff like that, when you ask in America, they're just gonna be like, "No," and smack the door, and they'll be like,
yeah.
okay. Like, even here, it happens a little bit, but
Yeah.
but to an extent, not anywhere near as often.
Well, like, I've knocked on plentiful people's doors and asked them for plentiful different things, or just...
Can I get some sugar? I need some sugar.
And most people, they'll just get it for you. There's been a few times that, even for, like, when we were doing the ball drive, right, for
Yeah.
grad, I knocked on a couple people's doors, and they'd actually invite me into their house while they were getting their bottles.
I had a few people do that too.
And it was like, oh, sit down, just take a seat. Don't take off your shoes. It'll take you some time.
Yeah.
So either they'd bring me a chair to sit on
Yeah.
right inside their house, or I'd walk over to their table and sit down. And I'm
Yeah.
like, these are nice people.
I had a few people that were like, no,
Oh,
go
yeah.
away.
I had
These are
some
our
people-
bottles.
I had some people that they're like, we got some bottles on the side of the house. If you want, you can go pick them up. I'm like, no, I'm good, thank you.
Yeah.
And we lost maybe like $10 from me saying no thank you to that.
But that's like $10 that
Yeah.
we're not really going to really find much use for.
Yeah. And it's, like,
Do you even know how much we made in the bottle drive?
we made good money. I think it was like $5,000. It was the best bottle drive that they'd
Holy
ever seen.
crap.
It was the best bottle drive that they'd ever seen, and they've seen plentiful bottle drives.
I was told it was like 2.
No, it was crazy. It was insane the amount of money that we made off that bottle drive.
Oh yeah.
But you gotta remember, right, is during that time, there was a long weekend.
Yeah.
Like during the time between when we started our bottle drive
Yeah.
and the bottle drive prior, right? There was
Yeah.
a long weekend. There was the NFL.
And it was also crazy cold outside.
It was crazy cold. Like, there was snow everywhere.
I think it was like minus 25
Oh, yeah.
that
like,
day.
I was surprised because I had to go get my snow boots back on.
I just walked around in shoes.
But no, I was freezing. I was walking around in my dress shoes, right?
Yeah.
And
Dress shoes are horrible for weather.
yeah, and I needed to go get my boots on.
Yeah.
And when did we do that? That was
like...
late January. No, that was
I wanna
mid-February.
Yeah, I want to say February.
Yeah, it was mid-February. Now, I'm not surprised that there was that much snow in Canada.
We've had snow all the way up to June.
Yeah, and again, I'm not surprised at all. But usually I can walk around without freezing in dress shoes.
Yeah.
But it was so bad. There was like several layers of snow, several layers of slush, straight
Ice.
freezing cold water with ice chunks in it.
The worst part about my driveway here
Yeah.
is that when it gets warm and starts to melt, it doesn't melt like 100%. So then it basically
Oh.
becomes like an ice rink.
Yeah.
Okay? So it's the whole way, all the way down to the
You
road.
could curl on it.
Yeah, you could curl on it. You could skate on it. And then it would snow again. And then the same process would happen. Same process would happen over and over again. So basically, like, walking down to go to school is like almost like embarking to go on top of Everest. Because it's like slippery to the point where like you don't even have to really walk and you could slip. And it gets really annoying, but I don't mind.
I'm glad I don't live there anymore then.
Even though the house was there that you were living
in Calgary now.
There.
Yeah. Well, it might not be in Calgary anymore, but it was taken.
The one thing I want to do one time actually is take a crazy carpet and go down. Just freaking rip down the thing, because it's downhill the whole way.
Yeah.
So it would be pretty fast.
Yeah, it's not like a huge angle, but it is downhill.
You remember in school when they would take us outside during class to go on crazy cart?
Yes.
That was wonderful.
Yeah, and you had to make sure that you were wearing all the proper safety equipment. You had to have your no snow pants on. You had to have your boots, your gloves, your jacket, your toque, mitts.
And then they started to stop doing that because people were stupid and couldn't follow rules.
Yeah. And remember when they took away there's that little castle in the two houses? When they took the
wooden ones.
And then everyone just started walking around aimlessly because it was the only things we really had.
Yeah, I loved those spots.
We had the playground, but
the playground's horrible.
Yeah,
to be honest. It's just poop.
Like compared to the castle and the two houses.
Yeah.
Like that was the place.
Yeah.
Remember that one time in kindergarten where we started gathering up all the older kids.
Yeah.
And put them in the bottom of the castle.
Yeah.
And we had people on top guarding them.
I remember that. That was awesome.
When we were doing that, right?
Yeah.
I found my cousin who was 2 years older than me, right? Mm-hmm. And I go running over to her. I'm like, I say her name a couple times, and she's like, "What?" I'm like, "You have to hide. You have to hide. They're gathering up all the big kids, and they're putting them in the dungeon. You can't get caught." And I'm crying. I'm like, "Don't." And she's just like, no.
The thing that I like, though, is that the big kids actually played along.
Yes, they did. They did. And they all went in, and they were, like, trying to sneak out, and...
But if you would try and do that now, with a lot of people that will end up being big kids, they'll be like, just go
either
away.
Wouldn't care, or if they did care, a teacher would come over and say, "You guys can't be hanging out together."
Yeah.
And it's like, why not?
Yeah. But, like, I remember we basically claimed that area too. Like our little bit of a posse, we claimed that spot.
Yeah.
Like everybody knew this is where they hang out. Don't go over there.
Yeah. And we had a fairly big group for a while.
Yeah. And then people started to move away.
Yeah.
And then other people started moving, and those people would move out, and
and after, I think you know who I'm thinking of, right? He got here in grade 1 and left in between grade 3 and grade 4.
Oh yeah, him.
Yeah. After he moved away, our group of friends just like sunk.
Yeah.
He was kind of like the person that was like the middleman.
Yeah. He was basically the building block of everything. And then after that, there was like 4 of us. 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And for a while, I can't remember what happened between us. Something happened between us in grade 4.
Basically, like, I actually came to a realization of this a while ago, but even though I already knew about it, is basically I got sucked into the hive mind.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know how basically everybody at that time was sort of trying to pick on you at that time, right?
Oh, yeah.
I didn't want to pick on you, but I got took into the hive mind where I didn't want to be stuck with you, but it wasn't the fact that I had something wrong with you. It's just that I wanted to be with them.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to be stuck not in that party or posse.
Well, yeah.
So then it was basically I kind of hate myself for that because I was like,
don't. That's ancient history.
Like, I was like, I'm stupid enough to get stuck in the hive mind. Like, what was wrong with me? Because, like, now, as a person, I'm like, I am going to do everything I can to not get stuck in that hive mind.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I almost never get stuck in hive mind now.
Yeah. Like, there's sometimes where the hive mind has done good, but there's many more where the hive mind has done evil.
Yeah.
And... yes, like I said, there's sometimes where the hive mind's good.
Yeah.
But overall, like, we should like, if you know something's wrong,
Yeah.
and especially now that we're older, like, as a kid, there's no concept of this. But now that we're basically adults here in Canada,
Yeah.
we now have a sense of right and wrong. And what I urge to anyone that's listening is, if you know that something is wrong, don't do it.
Yeah.
Like, if your initial instinct is no, don't do it. Like, someone could say, oh, don't be a pussy, oh, don't be a loser, don't be this, don't be that, this person's doing it, everyone's, whatever.
That does not matter.
Yeah, be who you are, and if people don't like you for it, quite honestly, I know this is cliche, I know this is cheesy, but you don't need that kind of a person in your life.
Basically, to put it simply, if someone doesn't like you who you are, tell them to fuck off.
Be with the people that make you love who you are, not for the people that make you ashamed for what you've done.
Yeah.
You know, and it's that simple. Like, me, like, as we said earlier, right? The whole life is short thing, bit dumb, but
well,
like,
that was
I've come to the realization, right?
Yeah.
That, as I said on that walk, is that we're a quarter of our way through life, essentially. 20 years old is a quarter of the way through life, because not many people live past 80 anymore.
Well, and also our
generation
is going to be, it has actually the lowest life expectancy out of any at the moment.
Yeah.
Wait,
yeah. Like, of course, if you go 400 years ago, they're still dying before us. Yeah. But if you go, like, my great-grandparents, like, my great-grandpa just died at age 87.
Yeah, that's pretty high.
That's pretty high.
Our age expectancy was 60.
Yeah.
When it first came out, and I was like, whew. Well, then, they have a lot of hope.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, is we're somewhere between a quarter of our way through life or a third of the way through life.
Depending on what your choices are. And, of course, you could, without ever smoking, without ever a specialist, without ever anything else, right? You could get cancer tomorrow and die. Yeah.
There's always that possibility.
Yeah.
You could do everything right and still the world seems to hate you.
Yeah.
But the thing is, most likely speaking, you and I are somewhere between a third and a quarter of the way through our life.
Yeah.
And that makes me go, what? Like, I've just started.
Like, time is fast, but it is also slow.
Yeah.
But time is also only of psychological value.
Yeah.
It doesn't actually exist.
It's just like money.
Yeah. Like, I was actually thinking, after I said, like, one quote a little bit ago, I was like, we should make a drinking game.
Yeah.
Every time we say a quote, someone has to drink. Someone that's listening has to drink.
If it's legal. If you're under the legal age, you can do what I do, and will be doing when I turn 18, which is drink pop.
Pop. I'll probably end up, like, being the person that drinks non-alcoholic beverages to make it look like I'm drinking alcoholic beverages. Because, like, I know people that do that, but I don't really see the reason for drinking or even doing drugs. Like, I actually saw a really awesome picture about one person that said, like, if you require to do drugs and just drugs, because alcohol is a drug, in order to find, like, your happy place, you're fucked. That's how they said it too. Like, if you require these drugs in order to find your place, then you are messed up and you will not be able to do anything.
That being said, right, playing devil's advocate, personally, I have the same mentality when it comes to me in my life.
Yeah.
For me in my life, I don't want to drink alcohol. I don't want to do heroin or marijuana or anything. You know, I don't want to do any drugs, regardless of
unless it's pharmaceutical that you actually need.
Yeah. Now, I don't trust all pharmaceuticals because I don't like to blindly trust people that tell me random things.
This pill cures these things, but can cause these 100 things.
That, or what's so dumb is what I hate is there's so many of these depression commercials, right? And then they just slip right in there. May increase suicidal tendencies, and it's like these people are depressed, and you're giving them something that makes them want to kill themselves.
They've actually found that all forms of depression are linked to a B vitamin deficiency. So if someone is depressed, give them B vitamins.
Yeah.
And they will not feel depressed anymore. I have actually found this to be true myself, because for a while there I was starting to get like a little bit upset. Started taking B12, and B12 helps with energy and everything else, really. And like I started to feel happier, and I would like almost never feel upset after taking B12. And like, I was about to say her name, but the person that we were having that debate with, it wasn't really a debate.
Oh yeah, in second block.
She is also actually taking B vitamins.
Okay.
Because of something, I don't remember what it was, but we were talking about like something. It was when we were at lockers and we would like have a conversation every once in a while, and that ended up.
And she's a good person, but I disagree with the stance that she took today severely. Yeah.
We could even talk about that on here.
Well, yeah.
But that's also a bit of a sensitive topic.
It's very sensitive topic.
Yeah.
One in which I take very literally, very seriously, and very aggressively.
Yeah. Like, if I knew of someone that was raping other people just because of the way they looked...
Oh, I would
go ballistic.
I would be militant on that person, whether they were a man or a woman, because first of all, people think that only women can get raped and only men can rape.
Nope.
Which is not true at all.
Nope.
Like, you can rape a 90-year-old man, you can rape a 3-year-old girl, and anything in between.
Anybody can be raped.
Yeah.
Anybody can rape.
Yeah. It doesn't matter. A child could rape an adult.
It's happened, actually.
It has happened. And if we say this person's a victim and this person's not, you're marginalizing that victim.
Well, that person must have been dressing like a skank.
And it's like, what? That's rape culture. It's also rape culture to say that a woman can't rape a man.
Yeah.
It's horrible. It's backwards thinking.
Yeah.
It's regressive and it's sexist. It's sexist to say that only a female can be a victim because only a female is weak enough to be taken advantage of.
Female's weak.
Oh yeah. My mom is way too strong to be weak.
Like, I can see that physically they might not have the ability to overpower a man, but in some ways they are physically strong.
I know some girls that could kick my ass in a fight.
Yeah.
Twice. But
also, one thing that you see almost every time girls fight is they kind of just flail.
No, yeah, but I know some girls that can actually fight.
Yeah.
But the thing is, though, right, is to say that a woman is so weak that you could
easily do it to any woman,
overpower and rape her. That's sexist because that's saying that women are strong, they're more passive. You're saying that based off their gender, this is how they have to be. Yeah. It's also sexist to say that a man can't be raped.
Yeah.
Because now you're saying that, are you just a pussy because you let a girl have sex with, or come on. Of course you want to have sex. You're a guy. All you have is animal urges. Well, I'm sorry, but I'm more than just animal urges.
Annoyed with that. Like, every person, like even men themselves, think that all men are drones for sexual.
Yeah, no, and it's not true. Like, personally, right? I'm not an asexual because
I don't even know why people say they're asexual. Asexual is where you can freaking make babies with only yourself.
All right, but when you're talking in the human context of the word, it does have a different meaning, and I don't know where that came from. I don't know if people who are the human meaning of asexual came up with that word for themselves, or if other people just referred to them as asexual, and now it's stuck, kind of like how we were talking about earlier with gay, or another example that would work, faggot.
Yeah.
Where, because we haven't talked about that in this episode, but I believe we touched that in the previous one, that's cigarettes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, though, is with asexuals, they don't desire sex. Now, for me, I'm not looking for sex right now, but that doesn't mean I'm asexual.
Yeah.
Because one day I would like to have children and all that come with it.
All the fun bits.
However, I'm
Yum,
not looking
vomit.
for a sexual relationship right now, and I don't want a sexual relationship, even though I'm a male, even though I'm a heterosexual.
Yeah.
That's just how that is.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
As I tell people all the time, right? Have as much consensual sex as you want in life.
Yep.
And not any more, not any less.
Like, one thing I also think of, too, is that there is no normal.
No.
There is no consistent fact.
Yeah.
Everybody, like, if you think about the vast majority of how many people are on this planet, there cannot be any sense of normality.
No, yeah. There's just normal for a region, normal for a group, normal for a routine, normal for me. Like, people, they ask me all the time why, like, I like to dress up, right?
Yeah.
People ask me why I don't dress normally. Yeah. I'm like, for me, this is normal.
Yeah. It's not my problem that it's not normal to you. It's normal to me, so I'm going to wear it like this.
Yeah, and I have no problem with people that dress in a way that is not similar to me.
Like, so many people ask me, why are you wearing shorts in the winter? Like, why are you wearing pants?
Yeah, I'm wearing pants in the summer.
Like, why are you wearing shoes?
Yeah.
It's like, because I need to. So I need to wear shorts. Because if I go to school not wearing shorts, I'm going to get in trouble.
All right, I'm a bit more sexually minded than you are. So I would have said, why am I wearing shorts? Because I'm hot.
Yep.
I'm damn hot. I'm 150. I'm a Kugelblitz.
You wouldn't even be alive. And no one around you would be alive either.
What is it? If you were to take a nail and warm it up to that of a Kugelblitz, it would destroy half of Europe, I think.
I think so.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
And now, just like 0 degrees Kelvin, which is the opposite of Kugelblitz, for anyone that does know, it is the hottest possible temperature. Just like 0 degrees Kelvin, under perfect scenario, 0 degrees Kelvin is the coldest possible temperature.
Well,
under perfect conditions, a Kugelblitz is the hottest possible temperature.
But, Kelvin can also go up.
Yeah, it can. That's why I said 0 degrees Kelvin, though.
Yeah. Like, but technically, we can't reach 0 Kelvin.
No, yeah.
There's, like, absolutely
it would have to be
possible
absolute
way.
perfect conditions, which, as we said earlier, is impossible to have absolute perfect conditions because there's several variables. So even if you could get one to be perfect, you're not going to get the other one.
Like, at most, we can get to absolute 0. Absolute 0 is like negative 200 something.
Yeah.
Celsius. So that's like 400 or 500 Fahrenheit.
Yeah.
But at that point, like, even atoms stop moving.
Yeah.
And at 4 Kelvin, which is actually quite hot, like, the sun is, I think, like 2 Kelvin.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. And at 4 Kelvin, there is literally no atoms at all. They will be destroyed.
Yeah.
They'll melt away, basically, because of how hot it is. Even though, basically, we still have the theory that atoms cannot be destroyed or created. But, like, when you're in a Hadron Collider, you collide two atoms together, technically that's breaking an atom.
Oh, yeah.
So that also voids that.
Well, yeah, like, in grade 7, I actually asked our science teacher about that, because I was reading into World War II, I was reading into nuclear fission, I was reading into the Manhattan Project and the creation of the atomic bomb, right? Yeah. And I'm like, well, it says that atoms are being split and fired into other atoms, which is then causing a chain reaction of splitting more atoms.
And it's also being created. You're creating atoms.
And what I asked the teacher, right, is if the law of science is that atoms cannot be created or destroyed, then how can they be split?
Yeah.
And you know what I was told?
What?
Okay, this is what I was told. Wait and you'll see. I never learned it in school. I had to go and learn it on my own.
Mm-hmm.
I'm graduating this year.
Still don't know?
Still don't know. Now, I'm not in chemistry. I took physics. But I've asked my friends in chemistry if they've learned that in science.
Yeah.
And they haven't.
Well, you also have to think about that. It's only a theory.
It's only a theory.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they've basically disproven that theory by using the Hadron Collider.
But we were told that it was a law.
Yeah. It's a theory.
And
almost all laws are theories.
Oh, yeah. Well, the thing is with science that I love and so many people hate is the fact that there's nothing... Like, science cannot prove anything.
Yeah.
All it can do is disprove things. And if something cannot be disproven, it is considered to be true until it is disproven. However, I love the fact that they add the until it's disproven, because science, it recognizes the fact that just because I believe this doesn't mean it's true.
Yeah.
Perhaps everything we know is a lie.
There's also the one law that says that anything dropped, like, so if I have two things dropped of this, like, of different weights, they will land at the same time.
Yeah.
And it says that no matter how heavy anything is in any kind of instance, it will always fall at the same speed.
Now,
and
on
time.
Earth,
yeah,
it happens very close.
That actually has been disproven as well.
Yeah. On Earth, it happens very close, but it's not the exact same. Now, again, that's supposed to be used in a vacuum.
Yeah.
But...
Like, there's this one person on YouTube, Veritasium.
Yeah.
He does science stuff and that. And he had one weight attached to nothing and one weight attached to a chain. So he dropped both weights at the same time, well, relatively close to the same time, because the way the human brain works and stuff like that. So he dropped them relatively close to the same time. The one with the chain always went onto the ground first. But they're of equal weights, so they should be falling at the same speed, regardless. Even with the chain, it still should be falling at the same speed. But because of what happens with the chain while it's falling, parts above it are still falling faster than the bottom, the weight.
Yeah.
So it would cause a whipping action. So it would cause the weight to speed up, causing the weight to fall faster than the other weight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which debunks that theory saying that all things will drop at the same time.
But again, it's meant to be in a vacuum, and the whipping action would not occur in a vacuum.
Yeah.
Now, of course, if you're in a vacuum, you're dead.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
But, theoretically speaking, it's meant to be in a vacuum.
Yeah.
But, if what you're doing doesn't apply to reality...
Then it doesn't exist.
Then it's not true. If it's like, oh yes, this is true under a circumstance that doesn't actually exist. There's been vacuums that have been made that aren't complete vacuums, but they're close.
I think the closest they've ever gotten to a complete vacuum was like 8 things of oxygen per square centimeter.
Yeah, something crazy. Like, it's close.
Like a regular house vacuum does like 500.
Yeah,
something for a vacuum. So,
like, it's pretty impressive.
Yeah.
But it's still not technically a vacuum.
Yeah.
And there's the whole feather in the bowling ball in vacuum, and you drop them.
Yeah.
And you watch, and they do hit the ground at essentially the same time.
Yeah.
And now, of course, the bowling ball is slightly heavier and slightly faster.
I'm not quite sure, but I think it's heavier.
It's not that it's slightly heavier. It is a fair bit heavier, but it's slightly faster, and it's not even a full second. It's like the human eye would say that's the same.
Yeah.
Then if you stop frame,
slow it down to the point, and then it would be like, okay, this one touched first. This one was first across the line. This one's president.
Yeah. But no, it's these very, very marginal, these numbers.
But you also
astronomically small. Like, you can't even assume to pretend to understand it.
And like when you think about when all these theories were made and these laws were made with air quotes, it was all made before the sciences to be able to disprove them.
Yes.
Every one of them, except for maybe like a few that were made recently. But not many of them are actually recognized right now.
Yeah. Well, what's amazing is once upon a time, do you know what people believed for Earth?
That it was flat?
Yes, but also, Hercules held Earth.
Yeah.
Now, That's all fine and dandy. But what's Hercules standing on, right?
Yeah.
He's standing on the back of a turtle.
Where's the turtle?
The turtle is standing on the back of a turtle, and it goes like that all the way to the bottom.
The bottom of what?
The bottom.
What the bottom?
Exactly.
What?
That's what people once upon a time believed, is that there's a never-ending stack of turtles that went to a fictional bottom.
Bottom of what?
A bottomless pit. The bottom of a bottomless pit. And that Hercules stood at the top of this stack of turtles and was holding up the earth. That's what people once upon a time believed. Even credited scientists believed that at one time.
Well, there's also the theory that people thought that there was a turtle on an ocean with elephants around it, and half of an earth sat on top of it, and that's where they were. And, like, you could reach the end of the world and then fall off and touch them.
Well, I've heard of that too. But I talked to one of our teachers, our grade 8 teacher, right?
Yeah.
And according to him, that's just a book. According to him, that's not a real ideology or real thought that happened. And now I don't know. I always heard that.
I've seen it, like, actually part of a religion.
Okay. But now the thing that I don't know, right, is, like, Slender Man.
Yeah.
Some people think that Slender Man is an old Germanic storytale. But in reality, what happened is someone won a contest for making up a fictional story creature, right? And part of the fictional, like, it was a creepypasta kind of a thing, right?
Yeah.
Completely fiction.
Yeah.
And actually, I think it was originally a creepypasta, and it was made. And part of the lore that this fictional writer created is that Slender Man was a old Germanic storytale, but in reality, Slender Man was just somebody's creation.
Yeah.
And they said that it was a Germanic storytale for the story of Slender Man.
Yeah.
And now everyone thinks that Slender Man's real.
Yeah.
Well, not everyone.
A lot of people.
But a lot of, like, there's claimings of sightings of Slender Man.
Yeah.
Like, Slender Man's the new Bigfoot.
If you go like this, and you turn your head, you could literally see anything.
Oh, yeah.
In that time period.
Oh, yeah. Well, people see what they want to see.
Yeah.
If I were to look for Bigfoot, right?
Yeah.
I could probably be looking at a tree and think I see Bigfoot. And then I could walk all the way over there thinking that is Bigfoot. And then I get there, right? I think, oh my, Bigfoot just teleported away. As soon as I get close enough to tell it's no longer Bigfoot and now it's a tree, my mind would just tell me it teleported away.
Well, there's also an effect that happens with if you have poles, like, relatively within the same lining.
Yeah.
And you walk across the path, so they're here, even though the people can't see this. So all the trees are right here, and you're walking right here.
Yeah.
There is an effect where you would see something walking. But basically what happens is, because of the way that the trees are, even though they're not relatively straight, you'll see one part of the tree before you see this tree. Yeah. So then your brain will patch it together thinking that it's movement. Ah. Yeah. I actually had that same effect happen to me one time when I was walking those trees. I was like, there's someone over there?
Yeah, like all the time you walk around in the woods or the forest or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And you think you see something move. And then you just say, oh, it must have been a deer.
Yeah.
But no, there was no deer.
But, like, once I stopped, I realized I'm just looking at a bunch of trees. And, like, I have relatively good vision even though I have glasses.
Yeah.
Like, I could still tell that, like, okay, yes, there is absolutely no one here. So then that just means that there's an effect from when I'm walking straight across relatively straight trees.
Well, yeah, and you're farsighted, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, so your glasses, they don't help you see far. They just see, like, if you need to read.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you can take off your glasses and, you know, do the whole cover your eye thing and still read whatever's on that thing across the room. Like, you know what I mean?
Oh, wait,
like,
no. I'm the opposite.
Oh, you're nearsighted?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah,
yeah. But still, I could have that wrong, too. Like, yeah. I'm not an optometrist.
The nearsighted is where you can read things that are close.
Like, yeah, I have to be this close.
Okay, I think that's how that is.
And then farsighted is where you see people holding stuff like this.
Yeah, I think so. Now, I could be wrong, and it could be the opposite, but I think that's how that is.
But with how my glasses are, they help a lot with seeing far. Like, I can see things far that a lot of other people can't see. Yeah. Even when they have 20/20 vision. Like, I'll see it and I'll be like, that's not what you think it is.
Well, like me, like, I'm farsighted.
Yeah.
Now, you might not be able to tell because I don't have glasses. But, I don't know. Do you remember when I did have glasses? Because that was a long time ago.
I think so.
Because I had glasses, and we could barely afford the first pair.
Yeah.
And then, me being a kid at the time, I broke them. I wore them when sleeping, and I broke them.
I've done that a few times.
Yeah. And then we couldn't afford a second pair, and I haven't had glasses in about 11 years.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that's not healthy for your eyes.
Well, you can actually train your eyes
to
not need glasses.
Yeah. But it depends. Different people, different everythings.
Yeah.
And so it's either better or worse. And it could be extremes of the two or moderates of the two.
Yeah.
And touch and go for me. Like, my eyes will start to hurt after a while.
Yeah, when you're straining to see something.
And, like, when I'm reading, I have to take breaks because it does hurt to focus on that.
Yeah. The one thing that I find when I'm reading is, like, I'll be reading, and then, like, my one eye will start reading something else.
Oh,
and I'll be reading something else with my other eye, and I'll get myself mixed up, and then I'll get headaches that way. And I'm like, I can't read anymore because I'm getting headaches. Yeah. And a lot of times, also, I'll, like, skip, like, 7 lines.
Oh, yeah.
And then I'll be, like, reading something completely different. I'm like, what?
What I hate, though, is when you get into that never-ending loop when you're reading. And, like, let's say it's the 7th line down, right?
Yeah.
And you're reading it.
Yeah.
Then you think you've gone 1 line down, and then you're reading the 7th line again. Mm-hmm. And then you're like, I'm not sure, but I think I just read this.
I hate it
and then you read the 7th line again, and you keep on doing it. And you keep until, like, 10 minutes later, you finally pick up the book again, and you start reading it.
The one thing I don't like is when 2 sentences begin with the same letter.
Oh, yeah.
Or the same word. Like a letter as in, like, A or B.
Yeah.
Something. Whatever. And, like, slowly, like, you're reading it, a little cat, and then you go down to read the second line, but then you end up reading a little cat again.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't want to read it. And then you just end up doing it again because it's still the same.
Yeah.
I've had that happen so many times. Like, the one time we were doing popcorn reading.
Oh, yeah.
And I ended up being the popcorn reader that time. So I was reading, and then I went, like, 12 lines down. I didn't even notice. And, like, I was still reading, and everybody was, like, just like, what? What's going on? And, like, everybody was like, Daniel, you're a little bit off track. I was like, what? And I didn't even realize it, because, like, it's so subtle when you change that massive amount in lines. Like, the only reason why I ever really notice it happens now is because I will recognize if the words above the line that I'm reading aren't in the same spot. Which is kind of weird because you don't really expect people to actually do that. But, like, I'm just weird.
You know what? Everyone's weird. Some people don't admit it, and some people don't realize how they're weird yet.
Yeah. Everybody's crazy. Just how well you admit it is the difference.
But no, the thing is, though, right? Yeah. Is the more you talk to people, the more you realize, damn, I'm weird.
Yeah.
But the more you talk to some people, and usually that's the experience I give to other people, it's like, damn, I'm weird, but I am not that weird.
I never really think, like, he's weird, I'm not weird at all.
No. I love the fact that I'm weird. I celebrate that.
I never think of the fact also as I am weird and no one else can be as weird as I am. Or that person's weird and I can't be weird as him.
No, yeah.
Like, I don't think that, like, ever.
What I like to think is I'm weird, you're weird, everyone I'm ever going to meet in life is weird, get over it.
Because there's no sense of norm.
Just get over it. The day you find a normal... Like, when I find people that are normal, I don't really trust them.
Normal.
Because one of two things.
We need the quotations and the normal.
One of two things. Either A, they're a science experiment, or B, they're lying.
Or they're, like, just absolutely psychotic.
Yeah. Yeah. but it's hard to tell the truth and be normal.
Yeah.
It like if people think you're normal,
you're probably a little bit psychotic.
I think that would be the worst insult though. If someone told me is that I was normal.
You're normal.
I have enough people telling me that I'm weird that I don't believe you.
Yeah.
But
there's still no sense of normal.
Short girl in grade 10, you know who I'm talking about, right?
Short girl in grade 10, there's a lot of short girls in grade 10.
Alright, the short girl in grade 10 that's kind of annoying.
Oh,
kind of pokey, yeah.
She says everyone's weird.
Oh, yeah.
Regardless of who you are, she will say that you're weird.
Yeah, no, I guess. No, yeah, that's a horrible example.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, as you said, she thinks everyone's weird.
And she thinks everybody likes this person or everybody likes someone else person. And then she just wants to spread crap. She wants to push buttons. And it's so annoying to the point where I want to just punch her in the face. And I don't want to do that to anybody, ever. But just only her gets to the point of me wanting to do that.
But no, yeah, like... And what I like the fact is we're not using people's names.
Yeah.
Because it would... I feel as if that'd be crossing a line.
And I also feel as if we are speaking for them. That's what I feel like when I use someone's name.
Well, another thing though, right? Is my experiences with some people have been quite positive and quite pleasant.
Yeah.
Like, there's some teachers that I've had, or some students that I've known, that personally, I think they're wonderful people. And then I hear stories about them, and I don't necessarily disagree with them.
Yeah.
But I've never experienced that side of them.
Yeah.
And when I hear it, I don't automatically say, oh, you're lying. But I don't automatically say, I agree with you. I automatically go, maybe. I don't know. In my experience, I've never seen that. However, with most people, they treat me with a lot more respect than a lot of other people. And I don't like that. I don't know why it is that a lot of people try and treat me with respect. I don't know if they think I'm a respectable person. I don't know if they think I'm a nice person. I don't know if they just treat me with respect to my face and then lie to my back. All I know is it's not really fair.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people, they go, oh, that's so-and-so, and so he needs to be treated with respect. And it's like, well...
Like, I myself, I do have problems with that as well, but I only treat people with respect unless they treat me back with respect.
Fair. But for me, the way I like to look at it, right, is I like to try and treat everyone with...
Equally?
Equally, yeah.
There comes your communism.
There comes my communism. But, like, honestly, what makes you different from me? What makes me different from... I'm not going to say any names, but we'll say Dave. I don't know any Daves. I don't know any Daves, and I don't know any Steves. So we'll say what makes me different than Dave and Steve. Yeah.
Really, the only difference...
is my hobbies.
And your name.
And my name.
Which is basically meaningless anyways.
Dave or Steve, yeah. Yeah, the only real meaning a name gives is so that people can recognize you.
Yeah. Like, a lot of people are really good at recognizing faces, but not recognizing names.
I'm horrible with names.
And then some people recognize names really easily, but they don't recognize faces.
Like, so many times do I completely forget someone's name.
Yeah.
Like, these can be people that I know quite well. And...
then you'd be like,
I don't even try with a lot of people's names. Like,
Steve!
Like, there's some times where it's like, I wish I knew your name.
Yeah.
But I can tell you their whole damn life story just from looking at their face.
Yeah.
And there's some people that, what's really amazing is because I'm so bad with names, is I get to know them two different ways. I get to know the rumors spread about them because we live in a small town.
Yeah. Based
off their name. And I get to know them for who they actually are based off their face.
Yeah.
And I like that because then, after it finally clicks to me, the name and the faces, it can really give me, what? What are those rumors on about? And sometimes it's like, okay, yeah, no, that rumor's definitely right.
Yeah.
But a lot of the time, it's like, that's a dumb, like, there's no good rumors, but that's a dumb rumor.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know how that started.
Yeah. But that's just how people are. People start things because they want things started.
Yeah.
They want things the way they are. They want things to be this way. It's all want.
You know that person that when we were walking home with, right? He tried to get me to go to that football thing today, right?
Yeah.
I've been hearing rumors about him, right?
Yeah.
That he's not going to graduate, that he's failing social, that whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And each time I'm like, I know his mark. He's sitting at, I think it was an 83 at the time.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a failing mark.
No.
Right now, he's got 2 credits.
Yeah.
You only need 100.
Yeah.
And he's got 38 grade 12 credits. Or 28, sorry.
Yeah.
And you only need 30.
Yeah.
And if you pass social studies, which he's on track to,
Yeah.
he'll get an extra 5.
Mm-hmm.
And then
Which is still more than enough to graduate.
And then he would be at 32 credits.
Yeah.
And then he'd graduate. So there's 2 choices here. He fails social studies, in which case he doesn't have enough grade 12 credits to graduate. And he's failed social studies, which are both prerequisites to graduate, and so he double doesn't graduate.
Yeah.
Or he passes social studies, which gives him enough credits to graduate, and he graduates.
Yeah.
So, because he's set to graduate, and he's on that graduation list,
yeah,
it set those rumors to rest, because they were dumb rumors, and some people...
All rumors are assumptions.
Oh yeah, like I said before, there's no good rumors, but some rumors are just plain out dumber than others.
Yeah.
Like, some rumors are just, like, perplexing.
Yeah.
It's gibberish. It's rubbish.
It's like, I saw that person throwing away banana, so they must be wanting to lose weight.
Yeah. Or, I don't know, I see that you're using low-fat dressing. You must be a cow. Well, no, you're not fat because you eat low-fat dressing.
It's like, I'm just eating low-fat dressing because I like the taste of it.
I like the taste of it. Or because it's slightly healthier. And maybe they're not an unhealthy weight, but they'd rather live a healthy life because a healthy life is directly correlated to a long life.
Yeah. Which a lot of people are starting to lose sight of.
Yeah.
They're like, I would rather live life happy than live life healthy.
Well,
you can be happy and healthy.
Yeah, I could not be unhealthy and truly happy. And when I say that, I don't mean I catch a cold and I'm depressed.
Yeah.
I mean, if I was, like, if you're not healthy, you're not happy, that means the chemicals in your body are all screwed up. Which, as vitamin
B12.
Yeah, vitamin B12. But also, that also can affect your... It could affect your intelligence, it could affect your strength, it could affect vigor, it could, every attribute about you can be affected by chemical imbalances caused by nutrients that you have too much of, you don't have enough of, or that you luckily have enough of.
How did you not get good marks in bio?
Oh, I didn't take bio.
Well, in science, in general.
I'm not a very good science type
Still,
person.
It's stuff like this that makes me think otherwise.
I can have intelligent conversations when it comes to science, but
then when it comes to facts, you're like,
yeah, like, I am horrible with facts. Like, I can remember, like, alright, D-Day, right? Like,
yeah.
I love World War II. I'm pretty sure that happened June 12th. No, that's my mom's birthday.
I think it was June 6th.
June 6th, that's right. My mom's birthday is the 12th. At least I remember my mom's birthday.
D-Day.
But I love World... And yeah, June 6th sounds perfect.
June 6th, 1944.
Yeah.
1944,
yeah. But I'm horrible with dates.
Yeah.
I'm great with information, but I'm horrible with dates. I'm horrible with names. There are things that I can't remember.
Yeah.
Like, I can remember the obvious ones. Like, I can remember Churchill. Yeah. I can remember Hitler. Yeah. Stalin, Roosevelt, Chamberlain. But
I don't even know any of those dates.
Well, you've probably heard all of them except maybe Chamberlain.
Well, I've heard all the names.
Okay.
Except for remembering the dates.
Oh, the dates.
Only thing.
Oh, yeah. Well, like, I know these obvious things.
Yeah.
But, like, I know World War II started 1939. If you count the invasion of Austria, which wasn't actually World War II, but it was in that World War II-esque stuff, 1938 if you count it, but it's not actually World War II, so it started in 1939. I don't know the month, I don't know the day. And it ended in 1945. I don't know the month, I don't know the day.
There's some people that think that World War II didn't actually end on 1945.
When did they think that ended?
Well, a lot of people think it was like 1949 when it actually ended.
Well, a lot of peace treaties were signed in 1949. A lot of, I believe that's when NATO was created.
I think so.
No, NATO I think was 1945, and the UN was 1940. It was in that area.
Well, yeah, first when they made one thing that was basically like, sort of like the UN, but absolutely failed.
Oh, the League of Nations?
Yeah, they made that, and they were the League of Nations was like trying to stop people from doing stuff.
Well, like when Italy invaded, what country did they invade? They invaded an African nation, right? And they were killing them, and they were killing civilians as well, right?
Yeah.
And the League of Nations is like, oh, you probably shouldn't do that.
And they would just sit there and be like,
you should probably not tell us what to do.
I should probably do something about this.
It was useless.
I am too busy with eating this cake over here.
Now, what we were taught is part of the reason why the League of Nations didn't work is because the United States was not involved in it.
Yeah.
Now,
wasn't one of the people that made the League of Nations in the United States, though?
Who was it that made it? Like, the idea of the League of Nations was an American president. I can't remember which one.
The League of Nations was like post World War One, wasn't it?
Post World War One. I can't remember what leader it was, but one of the presidents. It was his idea, the League of Nations,
because he didn't want
However,
another World War.
Congress did not allow America to join the League of Nations.
How often does that happen when Congress doesn't allow things to happen? Obamacare!
I disagree with Obamacare, but it's a step in the right direction.
Well, they were basically trying to bring in universal health care.
Yeah. Now, I believe that Obamacare is wrong because even though it is a lot better than what they have, that doesn't mean it's good. It's the lesser of two evils. And so if I were to say, should we have Obamacare or should we have current United States healthcare?
The current United States healthcare is both horrible but good at the same time.
I personally disagree with it.
The good part is that if you can pay your insurance properly,
if
you get
can.
Like that.
Yeah.
You get instantly fixed.
However, if you can't pay your insurance, that means that your child dies.
Then they take your house, they take your car, they take every single belonging you have.
Yeah.
You become healthy, you live on the streets now.
Yeah, you're healthy, but now you're living on the streets, so you can become sick again, and the next time you can't get us.
Yeah. Like, it's only been, like, within the last 6-8 years, they've actually been adding free healthcare.
Yeah.
Like, free clinics or free hospitals. But, like, a lot of people don't like them. Because they're like, oh, it's communist. It's communist.
In
like, no!
Canada, and more specifically Alberta, oh my. What they want to do is they want to have private and public healthcare.
Which is stupid.
Yeah, you can't have both healthcare systems because one will have to dominate the other.
Yeah. And
I'm not willing to let private healthcare overrun public healthcare.
Yeah.
I'm not willing to. Like, I am not willing to live in a country that has private healthcare.
I honestly think that public healthcare is best.
Yeah.
But there's problems that come with it. The fact that there's like 2-hour wait time or 3-hour wait time. Not enough beds for like such amount.
Well, the thing is though, that's not a problem with public healthcare. That's a problem with the government not funding it properly.
Yeah.
Like
if you look in Sweden.
Oh yeah.
Their public healthcare
is amazing.
Perfect.
And even if you look at Sweden and France, right, their healthcare is better than Canadian healthcare.
Yeah.
Because optometrists, I was talking to someone the other day, they didn't know what an optometrist was, so in case anyone doesn't know, eye doctor. Oh. Dentist, teeth doctor.
Yeah.
But optometrists and dentists are completely paid for in
In France and Sweden.
France, Sweden, and the UK.
Yeah. But the UK does have private and public healthcare.
They do.
But they did it properly.
They did it properly, and it's almost impossible to do it properly.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't try to emulate that.
Yeah. Like, there's some parts of the public healthcare that you have to pay for.
Yeah.
But the parts that you really don't want to pay for, that are really expensive, you don't have to pay for.
Yeah. But another thing, though, is...
This was I was over at his house and he drew this. Like I told him to draw something and he drew it. And then I was like, I'm gonna put that on my background, and then it made him all happy.
Nice.
Yeah.
I can't remember what I was gonna say, but that's a nice picture. I like it.
I'm gonna have to tell him what you think of it. I put it on Facebook too, actually.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
I don't use Facebook that often.
I was like, thanks for the background, and then yeah, like tons of people liked it and stuff.
And who was that? Not names, but who was that?
Not that person. Paul. I'm with him a lot.
You're with him a lot?
Yes.
Does he
we
live?
We sit together.
Oh, okay, yeah, never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
When did you make that?
Probably like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yep.
Did you make that on paint?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
It looks like paint.
Oh, it was perfect at first because when he was trying to draw the horse, he didn't do it right. Like he didn't have all of it closed off.
Yeah.
So there was like holes and stuff.
Oh.
And he did a bucket for right here. And so right here wasn't closed off at the one leg, so the horse just turned completely green.
So in case you guys don't know what's going on the background on the monitor right now, there's a picture of a gigantic horse with a comically small house. It looks like it might be in the background, might be in the fore. I'm not too sure.
It's all on the same level.
It's all on this. Yeah, it's definitely all on the same level. And it's so small in comparison with some clouds, a sun, and a little bit of a hill.
I don't think the sun is though.
Yeah, that's a great sun. I love how there's orange and yellow. But it's a wonderful horse.
Oh yes.
You should tell him that I think it's magnificent.
I'm going to.
I'm gonna have to tell him that myself as well.
But I'm thinking that would be a good time to end this off here.
Oh, okay.
For 2 whole hours of we actually covered a lot. This time. Like
it was nice.
Yeah.
And hopefully you enjoyed this 2-hour episode. This little special additive, and I hope you're eagerly anticipating that 10th episode.
Yeah. I don't even remember what episode we're at right now.
Well, it doesn't take long to check.
I think, well, because I haven't been able to upload a few because we haven't been able to record it.
Well, yeah.
Because of busy times.
Yeah, I have a horrible schedule. I'm sorry. If you have any problems, you can blame me.
5.
We're on 5? Alright.
5.
And is this the 5th one, or is this the 6th one?
This is the 5th.
This is the 5th?
Yes.
Okay. I like that, because on the 5th one we did something special. At the 10th one we'll be doing something special.
Well, on the 10th, every 10th.
Yeah, on the 10th.
We're going to be doing a video episode.
Okay.
Yeah.
So every denominator of 10.
Yeah. Well, that's unless you have a problem with
No. I have no problem with my face. I think it's beautiful.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed listening to our voices. And if you feel like answering the question at the beginning of this episode, please feel free to answer it in the comments. And we will be talking to you guys later. Yeah.
And have a good life until then.
What he said.